I know we have a few other people outside, but yes. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us for this Web3 education breakfast to really celebrate the annual conferences of CHCI and CBCF ALC. This program is really intended to really be a social networking as we kick off the day full of activities. I'm Clev Mesador. I am the Executive Director of Blockchain Foundation. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization focused solely on education. I like to tell people that while the industry is focused on adoption, we're focused on accessibility. Our goal is to be a bridge to the public institutions that policymakers trust, that everyday people in America rely on for information. So I want to thank those of you here and those of you tuning in. We are broadcasting this on YouTube. It will be a short presentation. We have some dynamic speakers for you who will share a bit about some of the work that's happening. Really quickly, for Blockchain Foundation, our big annual event is actually during Financial Literacy Month in April. We focus on making sure that we do now what we didn't do in the early 1990s. When we debated the internet, we did not talk about accessibility. We didn't talk about a potential digital divide. We didn't talk about non-technical users. We didn't talk about training. And so this time, at the starting line, we must do that. So I'm thrilled to share that the foundation is, continuing with its programming. We launched our first research paper in April, which was focused on financial literacy in the K-12 schools. We will be launching our second paper, which is focused on why we need to resource, modernize, and authorize minority banks, community banks, and credit unions to be able to offer digital clients because they are at digital assets, because these institutions are at the nerve center of adoption. We know that the earliest adopters are communities of color, young people, and working class people. And they are more likely to go to a community or minority bank or credit union to ask about digital assets. So before everyone goes off to enjoy the various activities that CHCI is hosting, CBCF ALC is hosting, I want to share that I will be moderating CHCI's blockchain panel later today at 3 p.m. And two of the speakers are here today. So I'm going to actually have both of them say a few words and share a bit about the work that they're doing. So I will start with, we typically do ladies first, but I'm going to have Christian come first, and then I'll have Natalie join us, where Christian actually leads Web3 Familia. As I just mentioned, Black and Latino communities lead national adoption of cryptocurrency, and Web3 Familia has actually done a great job in terms of organizing Latino communities across the US, but also across LATAM. And I love the fact that Christian is one of their co-founders. They have a dynamic cohort of founders, including a Latina among their founders. But also, they've done a good job of really honing in where we're seeing the adoption, which is significantly among young people, among communities of color. So I'm going to ask Christian to join us to say a few words about not just Web3 Familia, but the work that he's doing as a founder in the blockchain crypto space. Join us.
Cool. Well, thank you guys. Thank you, Clef, for the invitation and for having me here. I was sharing with the team that this is my first time being in DC for work, not as a tourist. So I'm trying to learn, the ways of doing things here. So thank you for the feedback and stuff. So just to share a little bit about myself. So my name is Christian Narvaez. I was born and raised in Queens, New York. Spent 10 years on Wall Street as a former energy investment banker, and I covered both the U.S. domestic market and LATAM. And for the past 4 years, I've been working in early stage venture capital, specifically the Web3 space. And within my 10 years over on Wall Street, I'm still on the board of a nonprofit called Alpha, which stands for the Association of Latino Professionals for America. Within Alpha, they were my big brothers, my big sisters that taught me, everything that there is to understanding the unspoken rules of working on Wall Street, right? And why do I say all of this? Because what Alpha did to me and my career on Wall Street is basically what we want to do today with Web3 Familia. Web3 Familia is a combination of sort of my experience on Wall Street, my experience in the nonprofit space, and beyond that, my early stage investing career in venture capital, where with Web3 Familia, we want to create a safe space, a community to come and to learn by doing. Web3 Familia, we don't teach, we don't have programming, we don't have curriculum, but what we do is we're a community of communities. And we engage in education by amplifying both online and in real life builders that are building companies, developers that are creating products, right? And then just community builders that are out there that are helping sort of educate the masses as to whatever protocol they work at or companies that they work at. So very, very happy that we've been able to run events, close to 90 plus events since November of 21, that's when we launched, across every major city in the United States and also Latin America. Something that we're really proud of is that last year we gave away close to $90,000 to our community so they could go attend hackathons and crypto conferences around the United States and LATAM. This year, to date, we've given away close to $150K, same thing, to attend conferences and go to hackathons. Something that we started implementing last quarter, the fourth quarter of 2022, was hacker houses. So for every crypto conference that we go to strategically, we put together a hacker house and we sponsor hackers from the local communities to come that wouldn't be able to afford going to a hackathon and just hack. And we teach them the non-technical stuff. We teach them about pitching, sales, business models, go-to-market strategies, right? And I think it's combining, obviously, the technical aspect, because it's very technical right now with Web3 and the hackathons, with the sales, the EQ piece, and the business model side of things. We could start creating more builders, more founders, and hopefully, great companies. And very, very happy to be able to work with Clev in many initiatives. She's been a big supporter of us since the beginning. Like, you were part of our event since day one. So just very grateful that we've been able to accomplish what we've been able to accomplish, not only here in the United States. We started here in the United States, and we've grown heavily in the US and sort of have presence across every major city in the US, but also now bridging the gap between US and Latin America. And we're going to continue. I'll be in Bogota, Colombia, speaking at the Blockchain Summit October 4th and 5th. And then I'll also be speaking at La BitConf in Argentina in November 14, 15, and 16. So look forward to, if anyone wants to chat more about Web3 Familia, what we're doing and our programming for the rest of the year and 2024, happy to connect. And, just very happy for Clev, and thank you for giving me the platform. Appreciate it.
Thank you for the work that you're leading. I remember when I first heard about Web3 Familia, I actually emailed Oscar, your OG, yes, and was like, oh my God, I have to learn about this. So it's great that, oftentimes the entities that get the credit, whether it be in the media or on the hearings on Capitol Hill, are not reflective of the totality of the industry. So I want to commend, Christian and his co-founders for creating a space for, the Latino, Latinx, Latin community to actually thrive. Because I love when I go to his events and I see this cohort of these dynamic, creators who are just excited about innovating in this space. So now we will hear from Natalie, who will talk a bit about the work that she's doing, also global, but also within the Latina community. I always feel bad as a woman, we always feel that we have to represent women, because the work that we do is so much bigger than, the limitations of our gender. But we have to realize that, we have areas that have been dominated by males, and as women we have to make sure that we're creating a pathway for other women to innovate. So Natalie, please join us. She has a very dynamic background, and tell us a bit about the work that you've been doing, not in Fortune 500 companies as well as within crypto.
Thank you. Hi everybody. My name is Natalie. I was born and raised in Peru, and I moved to US around 15 years ago, I think. It's been 15 years. So and I've been back and forth between corporate and entrepreneurship for years now. And I also work on Wall Street as Christian. So I know a little bit more about what's going on there. And I started working with blockchain and crypto when I was in grad school. It was 2016. So a couple years after, I met Amber, who's sitting there. And then I was already involved. I started involving more people organically. But I've been doing community for a long time already. I run actually, I'm a co-founder of a conference named Latinity. If you hear about Grace Hopper Celebration, it's the biggest women in STEM conference in the world. I think this year is going to be like 30,000 people, something like that. So I'm going next week. So we started the Latin American version of that conference with the support of the same organization because we thought, it's good to bring that to Latin America. So I've been doing community for some time already. And then, 2016, I started, doing research with blockchain. And then we started doing more community around, builders and not traditional builders. Because we ran the blockchain Boston Week Hackathon years ago. It was 2018 or 18. And then, so we found builders around the world that were not traditional. They were university professors. They were, journalists. They were from different backgrounds. So we just tried to unlock the value and what they bring to the table in terms for building, blockchain solutions. So that's what we're doing, organically, and then in an organization that runs hackathons and so. So that's good for me. But then back and forth to finance. I'm always in technology because I'm a builder. I run and then implement things on technology. It's actually a technology architect. That's what I call on my career path, let's say. So I've been in healthcare during the pandemic, which was wonderful because I also had the chance to implement some big blockchain project, which was the vaccination registries for Colombia, for the entire country. That's run on blockchain, actually. So that's one of the projects I ran when I was, doing healthcare during the pandemic. So it's good. So there's a lot of things I try to collaborate. There's a lot of things I try to enhance. I was recently in Amazon Web Services doing a lot of these things too, a lot of things in generative and AI. And lately, what I've been doing and building with my team is Darshana. So we are building a global registry of verifiable work credentials. So people can just check if they have the experience and their skills there. And we're building that because we found that not only that's needed because the onboarding and hiring process is long, but also because there's inclusion there, because if people they don't have backgrounds also, they can actually verify their work experience and skills there. So that's what we're doing right now. We're gonna be later today working, and I'm super happy I'm gonna share more about the Latinas community during the panel today. But it's important what's super important for us to be involved into, not only US, but also Latin America. There's a lot of things that are being unlocked in terms of value for crypto and for blockchain. A lot of great examples. We were gonna talk about remittances later. But as I was refreshing some of the, and let me tell you one thing. One day, I think it was 2019, I was sitting in a panel. You know who was on the side? I was talking about remittances in Venezuela. Guess who? I'm going to tell you later. So
tell us now.
I'll tell you at the end. So what happened was we were talking about this, and now after the pandemic, and the layout didn't change a lot, but it's been evolving positively because there's not only more Latinos involved in US and then with the countries in Latin America, but there's also a lot of more builders. Which, coming back to my first point, there's a lot of people involved that they switch careers or they found value on doing this, even opening a WhatsApp and then doing interchange between money and it's simple, but you need to do that. So that's what I have to say today, and thank you so much for having me.
I'm really excited about the CHCI panel later today. Most people don't know this, but Washington has been slow to engage around this blockchain cryptocurrency conversation. And in 2019, CHCI actually had their first blockchain panel during CHCI. Right? And so in 2020, I actually moderated their blockchain panel. So since 2019, every annual conference, leadership conference, CHCI has had a session about blockchain cryptocurrency. Why? Because it's important to educate the community. Because it's not about how you feel about it. It's about making sure that our communities are informed about the benefits and the risks. So Convene CHCI, excited to lead the conversation with Christian and Natalie later. Now, I will say it's also ALC. And so the CBCF, the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation, has been, leading this conversation as well. I want to credit Congresswoman Joyce Beatty, who, is the former chair of the CBC, for the work that she did in terms of engaging. And last year I spoke on the ALC blockchain panel. And today there's actually also a CBCF ALC panel that's organized by Circle that will also talk about the opportunities. So it's wonderful to see both CBCF and CHCI engage in this conversation. So now, to give us a bit more perspective about the Congressional Black Caucus side of things, I want to ask Joseph Vaughn to join us. He's a former executive director of the CBC, but he's also very focused on financial literacy as a key area that we don't value or prioritize enough. And the work that he led when working in Congress, and also the work he's leading now, in the work that he's doing. And he also has a ALC event that's happening as well. But I want to ask Joseph to come and share a bit of his perspective about, ALC, the work that he did in Congress, and why, educating our communities is so important around this issue, especially from the financial literacy lens. Thank you, Joseph.
Good morning, everyone. To be clear, I was not the executive director of the CBC, but I was the senior diversity inclusion policy advisor and designee for Chairwoman Joyce Beatty for the House Financial Services Committee's subcommittee on diversity and inclusion, which was a blessing and a high point of my career working for Chairwoman Beatty. And I'm glad Janae Eo, who also worked in that office with us on this policy, is with us today. But I want to first say thank you to the Blockchain Foundation for putting together today's event. For the last 30 years, I've worked in the financial services sector as an advocate for sound markets. But one of the truths is for the last 15 years, I came to recognize that there are substantial gaps in the U.S. economy when it comes to access to opportunity, financial products, and resources for diverse communities. And one of the truths is that those gaps weaken the U.S. economy overall. There's potential untapped growth. And so over the last decade, we've really seen the growth of fintech and technology. I'm so happy to be a part of this conversation today and to see the work that the Web3 family and Natalie are doing, because if you just think about technology and remittances, for example, I'm so glad you mentioned that. If you think about over the last decade how that has changed the ability of capital and resources to flow to the Latin diaspora and all over the world, really. And what's really interesting when you think about tech is that for many diverse communities, they are so dependent on tech and embrace it in ways that we could never imagine. And so for corporate America, for the financial services sector, the future is technology. technology and understanding that the old ways of doing business face-to-face aren't going to reach the consumers and the economic opportunity of the future. And so blockchain, crypto, technology, fintech, financial literacy, these things all, there's a confluence of opportunity there if we are, and the only thing that limits us is our imagination on how we can put these pieces together. And so for the future, for young people who aren't in this room, who aren't in Washington, who don't understand the regulatory structure and how these things are going to impact their ability to get access, the point is that we have to advocate on their behalf for smarter regulation and for financial structures that are going to allow for companies to deliver products, services, and opportunity in non-traditional ways. And so as we've watched the internet grow over the last 25 years, Web3, blockchain, they are the future, and to the extent that we can work with partners to sort of create opportunities that leverage those technologies is really critical. And so I'm excited to attend today's session. I'm excited to be a part of any conversation Clev is leading because she is well recognized in this town as being at the cutting edge of these sorts of conversations and having that expertise. The biggest challenge in Washington, as we often seen, is how do you translate great ideas into policy, which creates an avenue for opportunity and action. And so in terms of this week with the CHCI and the CBCF hosting their legislative conferences, I'm glad that they're focused on these issues. Clev mentioned that on Friday night I'm hosting an event at the Cambria Hotel in Southwest Washington. It's focused on HBCU business schools. I had the good fortune to visit Morgan State, which has a capital markets lab. And so for the first time you go there, they have Bloomberg terminals set up, and they're trying to get the students to think about the real world markets and understand how the education that they're learning in that classroom translates into opportunity, because the future and the needs of consumers in the future are going to be developed by young people. And so I'm hopeful this year that we're going to get down to Texas, the University of Texas El Paso. We want to go to Hispanic serving institutions. We want to go around this country. We're starting this process, and I'm pleased to say that there are many members of Congress who understand this. So one of my favorite members, Tony Cardenas, he is a leader that thinks about these things and someone whom I'm hoping to work with and partner with. And so as we leave today, the only thing I'll say is I hope to see you on Friday, but I hope that this conversation will continue. And if there's any way that I can support those efforts, please let me know, and I will be there, ready, willing, and able to help. Thank you, Clev, for having me today.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And I think, one of the compelling things about the work that Joseph does is really connecting the dots, right? When you think about HBCUs and business schools, right, that is where we're actually training the people who will actually redesign our financial system. And so, thank you for the work that you're leading, Joseph. The intersectionality with the blockchain cryptocurrency space is so huge, especially for our communities. We have to really, reach, different sectors within our various ecosystems and our various communities. Now, I have to say that we're here at Florida International University's DC office, and I have to commend them. They have been a partner with Blockchain Foundation, for a long time. And again, as I mentioned, the foundation is a 501c3. We focus on education, and FIU has really been leading in terms of some of these conversations. So one of the stats about FIU, and I want to make sure I get it right, especially since Joseph, I think Joyce Beatty, I always think of CBC chair, and I made him executive director, but he probably should have been. But yes. I believe the stat is that FIU actually, their computer science program graduates like one of the largest groups of folks within the space. So in terms of computer science graduates, they are putting out the talent base to help, again, design the innovation future. So I want to thank FIU for continuing to offer their space. When Joseph just mentioned, Morgan State, and Janae, who's there, was on a panel with Dr. Emdad to talk about the work that Morgan is doing as an HBCU leading. So it's great to have institutions like Morgan State as well as Florida International University being at the cutting edge, because for our communities, we don't get to only debate about the pros and cons or the benefits or risks. We have to make sure our communities are informed so that they can make the best decisions that are right for them. After all, the more options individuals have, the more inclusive money becomes. Jacob Hampo is there, and I remember when we had a conversation, and that came out, one of the conversations we had early on as we were debating this space. So thank you everyone for joining us. I know it's a busy week between oh my God, CBCF and CACI overlapping, and also Black Blockchain Summit is coming up as well. So I hope everyone has their sneakers on and lots of water. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh yes, let's do a big quick picture, yes. We've actually done quite a few of those. Shaylee, you remember the women of color one?
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
Can we ask somebody from the team?
So if everyone can just do 2 rows here.
Yeah, let's gather here, guys.
Five below.
And I think we did stools last
I'm gonna get
time.
somebody from outside to take a picture, right?
Yes, please.
Or Claire.
Maybe since you,
Or the
yeah.
boss.
Well, I think what we did was, I won't say short, but the people who are, I want to keep the FIU, I don't want to cover the FIU, yes.
That's relocating in the neighborhood. Hi, you got me on Morgan State.
Yeah, I was excited to hear about that. How about the two speakers? Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Two speakers.
So you guys get in the middle, please.
Come on guys, we have,
Okay, two more? Yeah.
no, we're gonna have cushion seats for Joseph. No, actually, Joseph, do you mind standing right here? Because this way we'll have.
You're the big man.
And so we need everyone to file in so we can. See everyone?
Hey, join us.
You guys come in.
3, 2, 1, cheese. Perfect. Beautiful. There we go. Got a few. Thank you. Very nice.
Thanks, Marley. I know you can go.
Everything is so good to see.
Oh my God. Yeah, so it's really quick connection.
Good to see you. Are we on this? Are we friends?
She said, Joe, come over.
And
You expect to speak? That's I'll do it. She said, I'll do it. It's good. So, originally from Ohio.
next year,
So, you know, it is. Yeah, so we really want to get them after school. So starting senior in high school,
exactly.
going into so being able to target these people, get into the workplace or stay. That's good stuff. So that's where the flames. Soon, because this is contracts are spending a lot of money, but they don't even say
Which is sad.
I know when
and I'm just sitting with texting and I'll send you Discovery Hotel just for Carson. And Michelle Hammond will be there. I'd love to talk about flames to learn more about it. Okay, how long ago? 2 years ago. 2 years ago. And so what we do is really, it's all about upskilling and trying to get people ready for the workforce. So we've had a couple of different things that we talked to. Is blockchain, obviously, blockchain is Web3, because we want to get that financial literacy piece as well as tech skills. We've done data as well as cybersecurity.
And I chaired the DC Financial Literacy Council for 2 years, 2014 to 2016. It's really interesting to hear about financial literacy. A lot of what we're trying to do in the district is just get integrated into the course curriculum in K through 12, but then it's also trying to get and it's hard because now banking models change, whereas before we were talking about branches and getting the tool, somebody wants to open up a checking account, bank account. Like, they're kind of smart about the unbanked and underbanked, but the platform has been translated into wealth creation, which is another step. And so I'm also the chair of the board of financial literacy. So the city needs them to be a pass-through manage wealth. So they distribute money to working families. They also have a match savings program where if you contribute, if they save $1,000, they'll triple match it up to $4,000. And so then the money's going to start a business, go to college, and purchase a home. Last year they celebrated 1,000 homes purchases through the program. So just a lot of great things. I'm going to think about it. But this is a great start. So glad that made a chance to meet that. Thank you much. You want you to sing this after me? So maybe.
Yeah, no, I think I was going to black BIA over
Yeah, so
innovation.
earlier with you sent me the information.
No, the one at the convention center. So BIA has a mixer and 69, and they also have a number from 1 to 3. And it's,
All right, well, let's just shoot. I'll text you. Why don't you text me the things that I see that might be of interest to you? I'll forward to you. Just forward anything you see to me. We'll connect again later. We're definitely going to have lunch. I like the acronym FLAME. It's one of the foundations is so in this town this just came to me 2 days ago. Casual clothing covers things that support them in a way that when they enter that work environment, they can thrive and grow. So that's some of the things I'm thinking about.
sometimes helping them with those soft skills as well.
Of course, Washington Literacy Center. Jimmy Williams is the executive director of Washington Literacy Center. He'll be there on Friday. I'm so worried about posting this.
Yeah, this one is me preparing for the Black Innovation. That's the next one. So many things is happening today.
Like, this is exciting.
All right, come on, God is good. It's a pleasure talking to you.
I'll definitely get your number in.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you have a big enough company,
They could bring in a third party.
yeah, it's just, I mean, like,
Like, it's nuts, right? So
still primarily.
There's only so much you can say. So, I mean, I had a call yesterday.
I mean, you've looked here longer than I have.
Yeah.
Like, it seems like it's
He's with California. I had a call with him yesterday, and I was just like, I thought it was gonna be like a nice casual, like,
although Meta has
and I was like, it's just a, I think I was just asking if this worked for the kids' culture and our area of guidance. I'm like, I know exactly what he's like aiming at, but I get hi. Good to see you, Fred. Fred, oh, nice to see you again. I feel like I've met you before. Yeah. Are you going to the Black Summit?
Yes, Thursday through Saturday. The Saturdays are in-person days. So Thursday and Friday are
Okay, so they must have done it a little differently this year.
where they have some online and then some.
Yeah. Okay, I'll have to check it out.
I have to try it. I go with you on my
I said I was supposed to go. That's the other thing. It's like my boss was like, so many events happening. Like certain life next week. Requirements that next week, but Friday 5 o'clock. That's it. Party time. Yeah. So how long have you been in the blockchain space? Interested in
About 7 years.
At what point did you are wow, okay.
I understand that, gravitate towards this space as being a person. So SharePoint is something I used to use for a long time. So being on the Microsoft side, we're kind of making that transition from understanding infrastructure.
So running like crazy.
So now I'm more about
That's a really big driver here. And I was just at an event in Richmond yesterday with the blockchain council, and that was one of the things that we were talking about. They were trying to figure out like how we can start educating more, educate students more to make Richmond competitive, just as competitive as North Carolina. It starts with education. And I shared that report that Clive and Molly put together, just like financial education. It starts with like so much more, right? It starts in middle school or high school. You need to give these children access to information knowledge so that they can go into college and be informed, because there's too many people. There were a lot of students up there from all of the different schools in Virginia. I didn't know about blockchain. I didn't know about this going to college. And I had to teach myself. And I'm like, you're at university where there should be like coursework, something to support you. But like that education piece is important, and if we have more informed students, they go into college, they go into engineering, they go into it's hard, So it's really interesting seeing all of those students there and like that desire to learn as much as they can, but then also because they're a foundation to like educate the people who are coming after them. So I really think that you're right. And let's do important work. Do you want to know? I just amplify. That's my job. Education. You do education. You do. Yes, you have to.
I don't have a job.
Okay. Oh my God. I'm a policy director for we work on tech policy primarily. So I work on financing and technology policy as they intersect. So I do digital assets and fintech companies, neo-banking, so these types of issues.
I'm a technology analyst.
She's a secret agent.
I'm not a secret agent. I provide information for payments innovation for the federal
Interesting. You guys are both secret agents. I've not been a secret agent. I mean, that's where I'm so I launched this product. Short-term finance. Transactions. During on-chain like so it was fascinating. As a result, I'm just kind of all of these side eye.
And I was like thinking like credit. Like the people you hate would not be
So I know it's just trying to do a lot of work. And it's the same messages you see here. I'm DC based. I'm originally from Alexandria, so not far away. Right across the bridge.
right across the other side.
Okay. Where are you from originally? Yes. What part of Ohio?
Columbus.
Okay,
go Bucks.
very nice.
So technically, they could. Aren't you from DC?
No, I'm from Ohio. I was just in Cincinnati.
I can see.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I'll get mad. I told her about Oakland.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I went last year. That's because
It's international. It's like Costco, but all international. It's like TRM Lab. And like when you go there, it's crazy. You feel like you're at like Animal Kingdom. Like everything is like jungle themed. And they have like a ship on top of the
Oh, wow. Okay.
But I thought it was the coolest thing because I was like, I've never seen anything like this before. And like, I'm gonna be in Ohio. What's this place?
It's in Kentucky.
It's in Kentucky.
It's a suburb of Kentucky.
But then, we went to Kentucky. I drove to, like, we saw all of the, like, Covington. We went through Covington. I was like, this is nice. I'm like, I love that. Let's do that. I don't know if I would live there, but it's nice to visit.
We have two cities that we always talk about. Quincy, because it's right on the border. And then Lowell, Michigan. I'm like, okay, you can keep it. You stay home.
You're trying to save your energy. Okay.
I can imagine, because I mean, surprisingly, Ohio is like, driving across it, I mean, it's like different parts of the country in one state.
Right, exactly.
So, I get that. Anyway, I'm gonna go say bye to Joseph really quickly. Let's stay in touch. I'll see you at Black Blockchain Summit, but if I don't, then I'll definitely message you. Let's definitely do that. See if we can collaborate. Alright?
Sounds good.
Good meeting you, friend. So this is a cool thing. He's from Ohio.
Yeah, from the real part of Ohio.
The land,
From Ohio as well?
The land. I used to live in the land. He's 6.
So I am. I still do a lot of like especially as I'm building up our social impact portfolio for ESG. I definitely want super fun. So I led our blockchain work. All of our we tagged PNG Ventures, which is around so yes.
Oh yeah, they have 4 members of the council. Oh wow. Well, that's later. No, but during the daytime they have because special summits they actually
So okay, all right. Send me your information.
The
contract that you put in place is a really interesting one. I think let's do LinkedIn. LinkedIn's probably better for me, and then let's go from there.
Good to meet you.
I like that place.
Thanks for the.
Hey man, good meeting you. Thanks for
It's good to meet you. So you're from Ohio? You're from Cleveland. Well, so he spent some time in Cleveland. I feel like I know a lot of the Cleveland folks. Not many people from Cleveland. Which is where I was living for a few years with P&G. I was living with P&G. Well, I was working for P&G and living in Cincinnati. It's different. It was like the 3 years of the pandemic. So probably not the best time to
kind of gauge if it's good or not.
So it's like now I live in DC.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah, I mean it's a big event, right? So you have to, yeah, exactly.
Making
this, it goes here, then you could click on this, it could go there, then you click on here. Like, isn't that amazing? I've been.
I think it looked good, but I saw it on YouTube. Y'all said,
Oh, you did see it on YouTube?
I did black hands. You know, I do black hands.
You're so terrible.
Yep.
Yeah, no. Next time we do an event, I wanna make it more interactive because you can actually program it, but it's just so much work to program it. I know. But imagine like.
Good. It looks good.
In DC. Oh my God.
So they have like this sort of screen, but all over the place.
And it's gorgeous looking. Isn't it so? And that's what I saw. I saw the blockchain foundation. It was like,
I like how did it's not. Is it touchscreen again? Oh,
Yeah, just
that's what you do.
yeah, and you touch on everything, anything, and press pin to interact. See that? Oh, there must not be anything in there.
Yeah, it's probably not loaded.
Yeah.
Hey, stop it. Oh, there you are. There. Okay, it is. Got it.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, it's their bottom line.
I think the X.
They gotta spend the money, right?
Got it. I like it.
Yeah. So next time we do an event here, I'm definitely gonna. I don't have to like.
I just came by to say hello.
Well, you know there's gonna be 2 sections today at the convention center. The hackathon? Good for you. Yeah. Oh, great. Oh my God, it's fine. Oh my God. Cool. So,
I'll see if I link up with Christian.
yeah, I will see you guys in a little bit. I'm really
You gotta hug too, my friend. And it's so good to see you always. But you know, thank you for always thinking of me. I found that like it's inspiring. You're inspiring.
Oh my God.
She's inspiring. But you inspire a lot of people. Like we look up to you. Seriously matter.
Oh my God.
But you know, besides me, there's a lot of people that I know that want to meet you, want to interact with you, and I've heard speak about you highly, and so I just want that project, what you do projects. It's bigger than you, what you do. So thank you.
See, for me, 10 years from now, I want to say that I did not contribute to
Completely different. I'll be around.
I'll see you at the convention.
You'll see me around.
Yeah, so we're.
So both are going on.
Yep. They overlap today and tomorrow.
That's kind of nice. Did it turn like, did they do it on purpose?
It happens like every decade. Lessons happened 10 years ago. Because they usually plan the schedule. I think this year is because of the way the calendar fell. Because remember yours usually after.
Should I just kill the live stream? It's still running. I still have it running.